All right, let's talk about pocket money. We usually think of it as, a pretty simple deal. A few bucks for chores or maybe just a weekly handout. But what if we looked at it a totally different way? What if it's not just cash, but one of the best tools we have for teaching our kids about responsibility? That's exactly what we're going to unpack here. So get this. This is a real quote from a kid in primary school. My parents always pay for me, so I don't need a wallet. It's kind of funny, right? But when you really think about it, it's also, wow, it's incredibly revealing. It points to this huge gap, and it's not just about money, it's something way deeper. I mean, if a kid doesn't even see the point of having a wallet, it tells you they haven't had a chance to practice making their own choices with their own stuff.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? When we hear something like that, is this a money problem or is it actually a responsibility problem? The whole idea behind this explainer is that it's absolutely the second one. It's a missed chance to practice being responsible.
Okay, so to fix this, we've got to completely shift our mindset. We have to get past this idea that money is just for buying stuff. The real goal, the real win, is getting kids to see money as a tool for thinking, a tool for making decisions and, learning about consequences. And this really breaks it down perfectly. The old way of thinking was pretty simple. Teach kids how to get money. Do a chore, get some cash, simple. But the real goal is so much bigger. It's about teaching them the whole process. How to weigh their options, how to plan for something they really want, and how to live with the choices they make. That's where the magic happens. So here's the absolute bottom line. The very first lesson isn't about saving or spending. Nope. It's just about helping a child connect the dots between the money in their hand and a choice they have to make. That light bulb moment when they realize that buying this toy means they can't buy that candy, boom, that's it. That's where financial education really begins. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we make it practical? Well, let's stop thinking about pocket money as just a reward. Instead, let's call it what it is: responsibility practice. It's this perfect little training ground, right? The stakes are super low, a few dollars here and there, but the lessons, they are invaluable. Here's a really simple but super powerful way to do it: the three-part plan. You can use jars, envelopes, whatever works. First, you've got spending. That's for the immediate stuff, the little things they want. This is their first real lesson in budgeting. Then you have saving. This is for the bigger goal, that thing they really, really want. This teaches planning and patience. And finally, sharing. This one is so important. It's about helping others, and it teaches empathy. It shows them that their resources can have a positive impact. And that saving jar? Oh, it teaches a legit superpower. It's called delayed gratification. It's just the ability to say no to something small right now so you can get something bigger and better later on. And in our world of one-click shopping and instant everything, this skill is more critical than ever. It's the bedrock of self-control. And let's be clear, this goes way beyond just money. Learning how to wait, mastering that power, that builds the impulse control muscle. And they're going to need that for school, for their friendships, for their future careers, for everything. Pocket money is just the perfect, low-stakes way to start practicing that skill. Let's make this real. Imagine your kid is desperate for a new skateboard. Now, the easy thing to do is just buy it for them, right? But instead, you make a plan together. Every week, they put some of their allowance toward the skateboard fund. The waiting isn't a punishment, it's just part of the process. And here's the magic. When they finally have enough money and they go buy that skateboard, the feeling is completely different. It's not just a thing they were given, it's something they earned. They achieved it. All right, now for a really important part of this whole equation. It's you, the parent, the role model. Because honestly, you can have the best three-jar system in the world, but if what your kids see you do doesn't line up with what you're telling them, well, it all kind of falls apart. Trust me, they are always, always watching. Yeah, your financial habits, that's their real textbook. It's not about some big formal money talk you have once a year. It's about the little everyday moments. It's what they overhear. Do they hear you stressed out about bills, or do they see you calmly making a plan to handle them? Whatever they see, that becomes the little voice in their head about money for the rest of their lives. Just think about the words you use. On one hand, you have, just put it on the card, we'll figure it out later. What does that teach? That money is abstract, that there are no immediate consequences. It's a lesson in impulse. On the other hand, a simple phrase like, hey, let's check the budget first. That teaches that money is real
it's limited, and we have to think before we act. Which lesson they learn just comes down to which one they hear over and over again.
So, as we start to wrap this up, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that teaching kids about money was never actually about the money. It's about everything money represents. It's about choices, it's about trade-offs, and ultimately, it's about building character.
Here's a really powerful way to think about it. Money is a mirror. For a child, the way they handle their little bit of allowance is a direct reflection of who they are becoming. Their developing personality, right there.
That mirror shows you what they value. Is it the instant candy bar or the skateboard they've been saving for? It shows you how they make choices. And most importantly, it reflects their growing ability to be responsible for those choices. So you see, we're not just trying to raise kids who are good with money. We're helping them become thoughtful, self-managed people. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. You can forget about the complex stuff for now. The stock market, investing, all of that. That can come way later. The most important work happens right now, this week, with just a few dollars and a simple choice. So, what's the first responsibility lesson you're going to help your child practice?